Hello and welcome to our podcast, where we learn English through real stories and useful conversations. My name is Amy, and I am so happy that you are here with us today.
And I am Max, the guy who sometimes makes grammar mistakes on purpose just to keep things interesting. Today, we are going to talk about something that affects almost every English learner I have ever met.
That something is perfectionism. And Max is right because perfectionism can secretly stop you from making real progress. Have you ever felt afraid to speak because you might make a mistake?
Oh, Amy, I remember when I was learning Spanish and I refused to order food at a restaurant for 3 whole weeks. I wanted my sentences to be perfect. And guess what happened?
Let me guess, you almost starved because you were too scared to say a simple sentence? That is exactly the problem we want to discuss today. And it is a very important topic for English beginners.
Exactly right. And by the end of this episode, you will understand why being perfect is actually ruining your progress. We will give you practical tips to become a confident speaker instead of a perfect silent learner.
So Max, let us start with a simple question for everyone listening. What does perfectionism mean when we talk about learning English?
Perfectionism is the belief that you must speak or write without any errors at all, and it makes you feel like one small mistake means failure. Many learners think that native speakers never make mistakes, but that is completely false.
I have seen native speakers say things like, I could care less, when they actually mean, I could not care less. Even professional news anchors make grammar mistakes almost every single day.
That is a great point, Amy. And here's something funny that happened to me last week. I heard my American friend say, me and my dog went to the park, instead of my dog and I went to the park.
A good English teacher would correct that sentence, but every native speaker understood exactly what your friend meant. That is the secret that perfectionists do not understand. Communication is more important than perfection.
When you focus too much on being perfect, your brain becomes very slow because it is checking every single word before you speak. This creates long pauses, awkward silences, and a lot of unnecessary stress for you.
I want everyone listening to imagine a small child learning to walk for the very first time. Does that child fall down many times? And does anyone criticize that child for falling?
No, everyone claps and says, good job, even when the child falls after 2 seconds. Learning English is exactly the same process, but somehow adults forget that mistakes are a natural part of learning.
The dangerous thing about perfectionism is that it makes you avoid speaking opportunities completely. You might know 2,000 words in your head, but if you never use them, those words are like toys still inside a closed box.
Let me share a metaphor that my old teacher used, and it really changed my thinking about mistakes. Imagine that your mistakes are like puzzle pieces that help you build a bigger and better English picture.
I love that metaphor, Max, because every time you make a mistake and someone corrects you, you learn something new. Without mistakes, you never know what you need to study or practice more.
Problem number 1 is what I call the silent mouth syndrome, and it is very common.
Silent mouth syndrome happens when you understand a lot of English, but you barely speak any English at all. You become a great listener, but a very quiet participant in conversations.
I've met students who can pass difficult grammar tests with 95% accuracy, but they cannot order a cup of coffee without shaking. This happens because tests reward perfect answers, but real life rewards brave attempts.
Problem number 2 is that perfectionism kills your natural fluency and makes your speech sound robotic. When you try to plan every single word before you say it, you lose the beautiful flow of natural conversation.
Have you ever heard a robot try to speak English, Amy? It sounds something like this. Hello, human. I would like to purchase 1 coffee, please.
That is exactly how perfectionists sound when they overthink every word. Native speakers use shortcuts, connected speech, and even wrong grammar sometimes, all while keeping the conversation moving smoothly.
Problem number 3 is the most painful one for many learners, and it is called the perfectionism trap. The trap works like this. You wait until you feel ready, but you never feel ready enough to start speaking.
That trap is so dangerous because waiting for perfect English is like waiting for perfect weather to go outside. If you always wait for the sun, you will never experience the beauty of a rainy day walk.
Let me tell you a true story about a student named Maria who studied English for 8 years without speaking. She knew every grammar rule perfectly, but when she traveled to London, she could not ask for directions to her hotel.
That story breaks my heart because Maria worked so hard but missed the most important part of language learning. Languages are alive, and they grow only when you use them with other people.
The good news is that Maria finally broke her perfectionism by doing something very small and very brave. She started saying one sentence every day to her coffee shop barista, and that simple habit changed everything.
Within 3 months, Maria was having 5-minute conversations with strangers, and her grammar was still not perfect. But here is the important part. She was happy, she was connecting with people, and she was improving every single day.
Struggled with perfectionism too, Amy? Even the actor Hugh Jackman, who plays Wolverine, talks openly about his fear of making mistakes on stage.
That is fascinating because Hugh Jackman performs in front of thousands of people, and he still feels nervous about being imperfect. He once said that his best performances happened when he stopped trying to be perfect and started having fun instead.
Another great example is the author J.K. Rowling, who wrote the Harry Potter books. Her first book was rejected by 12 different publishers before someone finally said yes to her imperfect story.
Haha, imagine if J.K. Rowling had given up after the first rejection letter because her writing was not perfect enough. The world would never have met Harry Potter, and that would have been a terrible loss.
In the world of English learning, I want to tell you about a YouTube creator named Miki from Japan. She started her channel with very simple English, and many people commented that her grammar was not good.
But Miki did not stop making videos, and she did not try to become perfect before continuing. She kept recording, kept making mistakes, and kept improving with every single video she published.
Today, Miki has over 500,000 subscribers who love her honest and real English. Her accent is still there, her grammar is still not perfect, but her confidence makes people want to listen to her.
That is the secret that perfectionists never discover. People do not love you for your perfect grammar. People love you for your ideas, your personality, and your courage to share your voice with the world.
Let me share a personal story about my own journey with Spanish, which I mentioned earlier. After 3 weeks of silence, I finally ordered my food using the wrong verb tense, and the waiter understood me perfectly.
What did you order, and how wrong was your grammar in that sentence? I am curious to know if you accidentally ordered something strange like dog food instead of chicken.
No dog food, thankfully, but I said yo quiero comer perro, which means I want to eat dog, instead of yo quiero comer pollo, which means chicken. The waiter laughed, I laughed, and then he brought me the correct chicken dish.
That is a wonderful story because you made a huge mistake, but you still got your food. And you learn the difference between perro and pollo forever. Mistakes are actually the best teachers if you let them be.
We are going to give you 5 simple actions that will help you break free from perfectionism starting today.
Action number 1 is something I call the 30-second rule, and it is very easy to follow. You must speak within 30 seconds of having an idea without planning or preparing your perfect sentence.
That rule stops your brain from overthinking, because 30 seconds is not enough time to be perfect. You just open your mouth and let the English come out, even if it comes out messy and wrong.
Action number 2 is to set a daily mistake goal. And this might sound strange at first. Give yourself permission to make 5 mistakes every single day and celebrate when you reach that goal.
I love this idea because most people try to make 0 mistakes, but that goal is impossible. If your goal is 5 mistakes, you will feel successful instead of feeling like a failure every day.
Action number 3 is to record yourself speaking English for just 2 minutes every morning. Listen to the recording, find 3 things that are good, and find only 1 thing to improve.
This action is powerful because perfectionists usually ignore all their good qualities. By finding 3 good things first, you train your brain to see progress instead of only seeing problems.
Action number 4 is to find a language partner who is also learning English and make a rule together. The rule is that you will never correct each other during conversation, only after the conversation finishes.
That rule keeps the natural flow of speaking alive, and it reduces the fear of being judged. When you know that no one will stop you in the middle of a sentence, your confidence grows so much faster.
Action number 5 is my personal favorite, and it is called the Worst Speaker Competition. Find a friend and compete to see who can speak the worst English while still being understood.
That sounds so funny, and I want to try this competition right now with you, Amy. I will go first, and my terrible sentence is, yesterday I go to store and buy many apple, but forget my money.
Haha, that sentence was beautifully terrible, but I understood everything you meant to say. You went to the store, you wanted to buy apples, and you forgot your money, which is perfect communication with imperfect grammar.
See how that works? Everyone listening? My grammar was wrong in almost every way, but Amy understood my message completely. Communication happened, and that is what real language is all about.
If you try these 5 actions for just 2 weeks, I promise that you will feel a difference. Your mouth will feel less heavy, your heart will feel less scared, and your English will start to flow more naturally.
She said that her mistakes were like footprints, showing how far she had traveled on her English journey.
That is such a poetic way to think about mistakes because every footprint means you moved forward. If you have no footprints behind you, that means you never left your comfortable, safe place at all.
The most successful English speakers in the world are not the ones with perfect grammar. The most successful speakers are the ones who made the most mistakes and kept going anyway.
Think about children again, because a child falls thousands of times before learning to walk properly. Each fall teaches the child something new about balance, and each mistake teaches you something new about English.
I want you to imagine your dream English situation. Maybe traveling, maybe getting a better job, or maybe making international friends. Now ask yourself this important question. Does that dream require perfect English or brave English?
The answer is almost always brave English, because people want to connect with you, not grade your grammar. Your accent is part of your beautiful story, and your mistakes show that you are trying your best.
I have a friend from Italy who says, I am so hungry I could eat a horse. But he pronounces horse like house. Every time he says it, people smile. And now it is his famous signature phrase.
That Italian man will never be forgotten, because his imperfect English made him memorable and charming. If he had spoken perfectly like a robot, nobody would remember him at all.
So here is our final message for everyone listening today. And please write this down if you can. Your English does not need to be perfect to be powerful, and your voice deserves to be heard right now.
Stop waiting for the perfect moment, because that moment does not exist anywhere except in your imagination. Start speaking today with all of your beautiful mistakes, and watch how quickly you improve.
Thank you so much for spending this time with Amy and me today. We hope this episode helped you see perfectionism in a new and less scary way.
Remember to practice the 5 actions we shared, especially the worst speaker competition, because it is so much fun. You can find the transcript for this episode in the description box below the video. If you enjoyed this conversation, please give us a like and share this video with a friend who needs to hear this message. Subscribe to our channel so you never miss another episode, and we will see you next time.
Until then, keep making mistakes, keep learning, and keep being the brave English speaker that you already are. Goodbye, everyone, and happy learning from Amy and Max.